In order to understand the answer to that question, you really have to understand, go back to the previous question, how does government work? How does our legislature work? How does the government of Canada work? What are the structures of it, and how does it work? And in the answer to all of those, and how do our cities work? In the answer to all of those questions, the Crown is fundamentally and significantly important. Not the Crown in the sense of, King John. He lost it in 1215. He lost the capacity to be the king and make all the decisions. But it was a bargain, and that bargain still obtains. And if we don't understand how the Westminster form of Parliament, which is practiced by the United Kingdom and Canada and Australia and New Zealand and South Africa and India and a lot of other places, it's a pretty good system. If we don't know how it works, then we can't understand what the significance of the Crown is. It's not a crown in the sense of off with his head. It's a crown in terms of the embodiment, which is really important, of the interests of the state, which is wielded by the government. And there are certain things that the opposition can't do because they don't have a royal prerogative attached to it. And understanding that concept and how that concept is used and what the real residual powers of the Crown are is very, very important to the way we govern ourselves. And it's vastly different from a republican system. The Crown has power. Most recently, the Canadian Crown decided whether or not to prorogue Parliament or allow the government to fall. The Crown decided that. The government didn't decide that. The Crown, Parliament didn't decide that. The Crown decided that. The Crown will decide at some time, as it has in the past, when the government falls, whether to call an election or whether to ask the other parties in Parliament to form a government. That's happened many times in Canada's past. Not many times, but several times in Canada's past. The Crown decides that. And there are many other examples. It is not a mere figurehead. But its figurehead use is very important. The Crown represents the state.